As we prepare for your final exam certification, under Photoshop, you can click to review the exam objectives. These are the 5 areas that you need to know on the exam. And when you get your score, you will have a score for each of the 5 areas. Okay. Also, when we do our geometrics practices, we are doing our practices based on these 5 areas. Next, I do have a textbook loaded for you. It is the Adobe Photoshop. You can download it. There's about 200, 300 pages in there, so it takes you a long time to read. However, they do have a great glossary, and there are some key items if you wanted to review, for example, copyright and some other items. Here's some information on typography, kerning, tracking, and leading. All 3 items that will be on your exam. Next, I also have the Photoshop Master, which we keep up with every week. And then I've also added a new document that is all of the Photoshop tools explained. You may have 2 or 3 questions on there asking you, A, to identify the name of a tool, and also to identify what it does. So I would definitely kind of read through these. You may need to know the difference of the lasso tool versus the elliptical tool versus quick selection and the magic wand. Okay, so on each of these, it does have the name of the tool, the shortcut, the picture of the tool above it, and then a description of the tool below it. So again, that is new, and that is Photoshop Tools Explained. Okay. Next, we have some important stuff about Certiport. Number 1, when we click Exam Directions, and we will go through this, and this will show you all of the different pages of the exam, how to read the exam, how to answer your questions, how to look at the summary, how to look at the task sections where it will give you the task, where you can see the timer, etc. So we will cover that in class, but if you want to review that on your own for your Certiport exam, you certainly can. We already made our Certiport accounts. And then finally, after you take your certification, this page here shows you how to log back into Certiport, where you can print your certificates. You can see your section analysis. That's really key for what you need to study the next time. So it tells you that you can log into Certiport, where you can go to look at your profile. Okay. And then you can also click Score Report to see what you need to do on your next one. Because remember, you need a 700 or higher to pass. Finally, the last thing you may need to do is you may need to schedule some extra time for tutoring or the Open Computer Lab. So follow these directions. I also have this posted in our pages as well. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to Calendar. Okay. And here's the key. Over on the right, you're going to click Find Appointments. So it's Calendar, Find Appointments. You're going to select your courses. You're going to choose Ms. Roberts, Adobe Visual Design. You're going to scroll down, and here are the times I have open from 3 to 4, 4 to 5. Okay. And you can set up for more than one. So you would click it, and under comments, you're going to need to make sure when you select that, you're going to need to write what assignments you need to work on, okay? And you need to watch the YouTube video associated with the assignment, okay? So then you could click on there, and that maybe you need to do your Andy Warhol and your clipping mask assignment. And you can do reserve. Now the nice thing too is when you would go back on your dashboard, you would also be able to see that appointment confirmed. So that way you can also remember that you have tutoring scheduled. I've also updated our Photoshop Notes Master Okay, there are 43 pages. I also have the table of contents. So if I need to work on the Andy Warhol, I could click my Andy Warhol directions. And maybe I also need to work on a different project. So I can click Andy Warhol, and that's on page 29, so I can kind of quickly scroll through here. So also, at the beginning of each assignment, if it is hyperlinked, I can click on it once, and it's going to take me directly to that video. Okay. So any of my directions that have videos attached to it, okay, maybe even how to watermark your image and adjust opacity. So you can click on it, and it will take you directly to the video. The other thing that you can do is you can log into Adobe, okay, and under the search, you can type Shanna Roberts. That would be your teacher. Look for the one that looks just like me with my face right here, and click subscribe. And then that way, once you subscribe, under videos, you can see all of the videos that we have for the different playlists. Okay, or you can go over here to my playlist and do the ones for our Adobe curriculum. Okay, and see those. Or finally, under YouTube, you can just click my videos here, and these are in order of when they were attached. Okay, so if you needed help with the animation or how to load brushes. So to get you prepared for your test, you have several things at your disposal. You can look at the exam objectives. You can look at the textbook. You can read over our notes. You can read over the tools. You can review the tutorial for how to take the test if you are a nervous test taker. Okay. You also have access to tutoring. So again, to do tutoring, calendar, find appointments. You're going to choose my class. Go down to the date and time that you want to add. Just click it, and then under comments, you'd write down what lessons you need. And again, don't forget this part right here, that you will need a hall pass. And if doors are locked, here is my Google Voice number as well. And my last part, last 2 minutes. This week in October, we are having the Adobe Max Conference, which is amazing. You can sign up for free. So you can go to max.adobe.com. You would need to log in with your address. Okay. So here is the Adobe Max Dashboard. Okay, you can see a little intro video. These are the ones that I have scheduled, or you can click here for View All Sessions. I think there's over 400 different sessions that you can attend. Some are in Japanese, some are different languages, depending on what you are interested in. So really quick, under session type, I personally like the labs, or under category, I like to do the how-to, and then sometimes I also like the inspiration. You can also adjust this for your technical level, if you're a beginner or even the general audience. For region, we are in the Americas. That may be important because we don't want these at 2 in the morning. And then finally, under product. So in this class, we are learning Photoshop and Illustrator, but maybe you enjoy other items. Maybe you are interested in doing TikTok videos and you want to learn how to use Adobe Premiere Rush. The next class, next year, we're going to be doing Premiere Pro, which is using the entire semester of just video editing. Okay. So you can go through and look at some of these. You can put a little heart if it is something that you think that you would love. Okay, maybe you want to see how to do a cinematic album breakthrough, and you can click Add to Schedule. And then a lot of these that are labs, once it's time for it to begin, you can go and download sample materials to practice on at home.